Welcome, everyone. I'm Sue Barber, author, former IT director for a Fortune 500 company, turned executive coach, and this is the Visibility Factor podcast, where we explore how to raise your visibility and play bigger at work and in life. We'll explore key topics and welcome guests that help you shift your thinking about yourself so you can see new possibilities for your leadership. I'm on a mission to create a visibility movement for leaders to show their value and be seen for their true talent. Are you ready to take the next step towards a higher level of visibility for yourself? Let's go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Visibility Factor podcast. This is Sue Barber, your host. Today's episode is focused on being consistent with your visibility, which helps you create a more intentional impact. There are many things that I didn't do in the way that I'm talking to you about it now. What I was doing wasn't working. It was keeping me hidden. It was keeping me in the background. And that's not how you get seen by other people and be thought about for future opportunities. So let's talk about the visibility myth that I lived with for a really long time. If I do great work, people will find me. That is definitely a myth. I have debunked it myself for my own career, but I've also helped other people do the same. That was the core message of the Visibility Factor book is, if I do hard work, people are going to see me. But the next part was they won't see you unless you're being visible. Right? I wanted people to understand that visibility is what helps you achieve career success. It's not just the hard work. Hard work is a small portion of that. That's what keeps you in place in your company, right? That's why you get to keep your job. You have to perform. You have to do the work. It's all the other stuff that's important, though, too. Making sure that people see you, making sure that people think of you in a good way, like your image and your reputation is in a good place, and that you're putting yourself out there for opportunities to get exposure in front of senior leadership to help them see the leadership you have, the way that you think about things, the confidence that you have. All of those things I know may not be true for you right now, but we have to start moving you forward towards believing in yourself again. If you've had some low confidence moments or some things that haven't gone well, we need to help you shift, right? You need to help yourself move forward and recognize that that is just one situation. It doesn't have to be true for you every time, but I think sometimes we hold on to those and it helps us hide. Right? If we had a bad situation and we said something and someone talked over us, well, then we might get the message that our voice doesn't matter. It happens to a lot of clients I work with. I have one in particular who basically was so frustrated because a leader that she was working with kept talking over her. And I said, what if we can change the way that he sees you? Because right now he is either making assumptions about you, about what you're going to say or how you're going to say it, or you might be giving him way too much detail. And so he's just trying to shut it down. And so we worked through that. We talked about ways that she could show up differently, how she could position the conversation differently, because senior leaders don't have a lot of patience and time. So you have to be intentional when you have these conversations. And what was so fun about this is that he started to come to her. And I said, that's exactly what we want, right? You were trying to go to him and ask him what he needed and ask him for help and ask him how you could help him. Let's just have you focus on doing great work in your space, and he's going to come to you. And that's exactly what happened. So I want that for you too. I want you to be able to stand on your own and show how amazing you are, how smart you are, how you are leading through big challenges. Those things aren't always seen, right? Those are sometimes, I think, little things that we do that we just take for granted. Making a big decision, signing a contract, negotiating something, leading a team and helping them grow. We tend to dismiss a lot of great things that we're doing. And I want you to be aware and recognize that those things are the things you want to talk about. We want people to see you and what you're doing. So figure out how to start to talk about those things because they need to see you. We also tend to compare ourselves to others. And we might say, well, they're smarter than I am, or they know more than I am, or they've got more experience than I do. And so then we just keep ourselves small. Instead, say, you know what, they're great. I'm great. We each bring different things to the party. And how can we leverage each other's skill sets to help each other succeed? But that person might be being more visible than you are. They might be talking in meetings more than you are. They might be having different conversations outside of meetings that you don't even know about. And so people see them. And then they're going to be the one that gets the promotion because people have connected with them. They trust them. They understand what they have to offer because they're putting themselves out there. So I would love for you to think about that, because what I hear all the time is nobody knows anything about me. I haven't done a good job of talking to anyone about what I want to do next. I sometimes think that nobody knows I even exist. Wow, right? That's awful. I don't want anyone to feel that way. So how can you put yourself out there and start talking about the things that you do and the things that you have to offer? Because that person that got promoted, you might be way better than they are. And all they did was talk about things more, and that's what got them promoted. I've seen it happen time and time again. So you need to think about what you're missing out on, right? Your potential, more promotions for you, higher income, all of those things you're going to lose out on because you're not getting out there. It's your responsibility to talk about the things that your team is doing, the things that you're doing that are great. If you could just stop for 1 second and just write down some things that you have done just this week alone, I bet there's a ton of things that you've done that you have dismissed and not even thought about. You just take them for granted. But if you shared them in the best way with your boss, with other people in the organization, would they create a new perception for you? Don't dismiss the things that could help you be seen in the way that you want to. And this comes with having some purpose, having some intention, because that's what helps you create impact, right? That's what helps people see you. So ask yourself, what are the things that you want to be known for? What messaging do you want people to have about you, right? I sometimes call it the narrative that you want people to have about you, because this is about creating an intentional identity for yourself. So who do you need to be visible to? How can you make sure that you're getting in front of these people so that they do think about you, that they are considering you for future opportunities? So you have to figure out how to get in front of people and let them know who you are so that they can understand what you have to offer. And this comes with consistency, right? But how can you take advantage of the meetings that you're in? And let's leverage those. I think a lot of people assume it's an extra thing they have to do and they don't have time for it, so they just don't do it. This can be taking advantage of the things that you have to offer already and using them. So I built a value framework for my new workbook that I'm excited about because I think it will be something that helps people go through this exercise of how to be consistent and intentional with their visibility and showing their value. I want you to think about ways to make this easy for yourself, and making it easy means using the things that you already have, things that you're already doing. Consistency is key here. So for today's visibility action plan, I would love to leave you with one question. How are you going to be intentionally visible this week? What are you going to do? What have you already done? I'm sure there's things that you've done this week. Capture those. I don't want anything to be left off. I want you to think about even the smallest thing that you've done that has moved the needle, even if it's somebody asked for a recommendation for some tool and you gave it to them. Write that down. You need to see the great things that you're doing. And you just don't think that they're big because they're coming easy to you. But to other people who don't know the answer, it's a big deal. So let's take advantage of those opportunities and capture them and talk about them, right? If you have 100 things on your list, amazing, but you're not going to be able to talk about all 100, right? So you're going to have to prioritize, but find ways to capture these things. And they're going to be things that you can then use in your performance reviews, use in your one-on-ones with your manager or with other people that you're meeting within the organization. Those are the wins that you have every week that you're not taking advantage of. So I don't want you to do anything extra. I just want you to recognize that you can take advantage of all kinds of things that you're already doing and recognize that people are paying attention, even when you think that they aren't. Thanks so much for joining today on the Visibility Factor podcast, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks so much for listening to the Visibility Factor podcast. Remember that visibility starts with small steps that are intentional and consistent each day. Be bold, be visible, be the leader you were meant to be. Find us and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Follow us on all of our social media platforms, which are highlighted in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Visibility Factor podcast.